Let's talk about that later, or let's talk about that now. So, in our last Dave episode, I'm sure a lot of you viewers have noticed that we said that we were going to talk about a bunch of things, but then we actually didn't get to that, and then the video ended. That was weird, right? Well, there was a reason for that, and the reason was that Khan unfortunately lost the other half of the Dave episode. So that half is lost to the void. It is gone. Goodbye. Banished to the outer realms of paradox space. Unfortunately, this means a lot of our insights that we said that we were going to get to later, we actually didn't get to. But I am here to alleviate some of that. And I'm going to do it by talking about one particular product. Buy my merch. No, I don't even have merch. But one particular problem with Dave's characterization that is tied intrinsically to another character, Bro Strider. Now, we talked about why... Well, we didn't actually talk about it, but the reason why Bro and Dave's relationship and how it was defined at the end of Homestuck is a problem rests a lot in the fact that it brings real issues into Homestuck itself. Now, you might be thinking, well, that's what made it so cool, is that it was tackling a real life issue of abuse. This thing that we laughed at was actually causing this character pain and harm. And I mean, there's plenty of media that can kind of get into that and do so tastefully. Homestuck is not it. Homestuck is not the sort of media that makes tasteful remarks and tasteful kind of points. Homestuck is not what I would call tasteful in any regard in that matter. For Bro and Dave's situation, before this came out, Bro was depicted, well, we cannot deny this, Bro was depicted fighting his brother, and yes, he did throw his ass down the stairs. He lives in a janky ass apartment that is covered with nothing but swords and puppets and a bunch of other strange esoteric bullshit that Dave just kind of deals with. And that's something that is noticeable at the start, though, is that for all this weird esoteric bullshit, he pretends that it's okay. He keeps telling himself, oh, this is cool. My bro's cool. He's cool. There is no questions about how cool he is. Shut up. He is cool. And, you know, the message from that is, no, he's not cool. He's the opposite of cool. He's kind of a fucking weirdo. But that's okay. It's not something that you have to pry into with a crowbar and tell yourself, ooh, there's something deeper here. I'm gonna dig it out and it's gonna be a deep, rich statement. No, it's about as deep as a kiddie pool. You know, saying Bro's relationship is abusive is like saying the Three Stooges is domestic violence. Like, the start of Homestuck is portrayed comedically. That's the whole point. It's haha funny. It's ridiculous. John attacks his dad with a hammer. You know, Rose tries to falsely commit suicide in front of Mom because, you know, she's fucked up. And then you have Jade, who lives by herself on an island because her grandfather is dead and the only living thing there besides herself is her dog. And at the time when this was portrayed, it all fed into itself. You could kind of release the ridiculousness of what you were seeing and accept that it was an exaggeration of real life. It was supposed to be this way, and it's funny. It's supposed to be funny. It's just, when you go back to that, and then you say, no, it wasn't funny, this was serious, that's where things start to fall apart. Because by doing that, you not only make it so that that particular thing is something that you have to take seriously, but so is everything else. And that's the problem with Homestuck, is that it doesn't take everything else seriously. Not to the degree that it wants you to take Dave's situation seriously with Bro. So what is there to do then? And why does this break Dave's character by saying that Bro's abusive? What the problem with that is that before this whole abuse thing came out, Dave's angling originally was because he felt like he couldn't live up to what Bro was. He couldn't be the hero that he said Bro was and what he was supposed to be. And post-retcon, he comes out and says that these expectations were made because of something called toxic masculinity, which is dumb, really dumb, because Dave perceived the ultimate, like, being of masculinity being his Bro, but, like, that was his impression because Bro was the only male figure in his life that he could build himself up to try and mimic. It's not like some bullshit about toxic masculinity, whatever. It's just his Bro was fucked up and he recognizes he was fucked up, but he doesn't blame him specifically. He blames like some kind of weird, like, thing, an idea, not specifically Bro, but just, ooh, toxic masculinity is what is so bad about this shit, is what's bad about Bro, because he is like that, and I am angry. Ugh. That whole conversation with John was so bad, I still hate it to this day. Bro didn't deserve this, by the way. Bro did deserve to be called out for throwing Dave down the stairs and having the apartment turned into like some freaky, I don't even know what the fuck. You know, maybe Bro just like saw too many Saw movies and just fashioned his apartment after it, but he's a weird guy. He's so weird. He's like the guy that I would look at on the bus and scoot away from because this guy smells like sweat and axe and is just staring a little too hard at his cell phone, which has some weird puppet porn on it, you know, that sort of thing. And it's just Bro, though, for all of the things he's demonized for, it's kind of weird how people just kind of ignore, including Dave, I suppose, how they ignore how Bro did raise Dave. He had no business raising him, honestly, but he did raise him, and it wasn't cruelly to the extent that I think that the Homestuck tries to make it sound. Dave, in their apartment, has the only room. Bro does not have a room. In fact, I don't even know where the hell that man lives. He could sleep on the roof for all I know. Or maybe the couch. I guess the couch makes sense, honestly. But Dave has his own room. He has his own turntables. He has an iPhone in 2009. Now, does him having all these nice things mean he's not being abused? Like, no, of course not. People can still be abused despite their living situations. That's not like an excuse of anything whatsoever in a real life context. But I'm not talking about a real life context. We're talking about a goddamn story where you make a universe by playing a stupid computer game that actually affects all reality. You know, it isn't as much of a big, deep deal as you're making it out to be. So when you come out and try to tackle these real life things, these important messages going on with these characters, it comes off as disingenuous and doesn't match up to like the start of the comic whatsoever. And even more, it's just, it ruins all of that earlier stuff. And for what? For what purpose? other than to, you know, get some cheap ass points of, ooh, this is so deep and real. Ooh. God. Bro is a weirdo. He's cool, but he's a weirdo. But he didn't deserve the sort of, like, assassination of his character that he got at the end of Homestuck. And I honestly don't think he was ever as bad as what Dave makes him sound out to be. You know, if you're just alone on a meteor with no one to talk to but your sister, who... her free time shit is, I'm going to psychoanalyze you with this surface level bullshit. I am not a professional. A 13 to 16-year-old psychoanalysis. She is bound to get the wrong conclusion from talking with Dave. And it isn't like the mega traumatized kids of Alternia, aka Carcat, Terezi, and like Kanaya. None of them know what is normal for a human either, because that is kind of their normal, to be abused by their guardian because their guardians are wild animals. So, you know, naturally he's just gonna turn out really fucked up. This is why this whole situation with Bro is just really stupid. And there's no nuance to it anymore. It's not a nuance of Dave doesn't understand Bro, but then he comes to understand Bro and realizes that he is lame. It is Bro flies way on the other side of the handle. Or not Bro, I mean Dave. Dave flies all the way on the other side of the handle and thinks to himself, God, Bro was a fucking monster and I hate him, so let me complain about that to Dirk, who actually had nothing to do with that. Way to go, Dave. You are a fucking idiot. Thank you for ruining all the really, like, nonsense with Sweet Bro and Hella Jeff and the Smuppets. You know, because now that's all mired in, like, ooh, traumatizing era, traumatizing memories. God.